What's up, guys? Welcome back to Touchdown Talk, your podcast where everything and anything football goes. We have a lot to go through this week. A week in review is what we'll be doing today, with a little mix in on some bigger news that's been going on. But let's go back to the beginning of the week where we had some minor adjustments, minor moves in the NFL, where Stephon Gilmore was signed to the Indianapolis Colts, reported by Tom Pelissero and Josina Anderson. That's a good signing for Gilmore. I think it's really going to help him resurrect his career in a way. He's been doubted ever since he left New England. And now the Colts getting a better addition to that defense really helped them out. And especially with now their offense cooking with Matt Ryan, I think Indianapolis will be able to go far in the AFC this year. Next, we had Trey Lance getting indications from the team that he's going to be the starter. Now, this was reported by Jeremy Fowler. And this is big news for the 49ers, because we all know what's been going on with Jimmy Garoppolo and now with Deebo Samuel. So this is big news for the San Francisco 49ers. And for this to come out, it's really big, because if Trey Lance is going to be the starter, that 49ers offense could look completely different, especially if Deebo's gone as well. So with Deebo gone, then that's going to be a bigger adjustment for Trey Lance, because going into the season, you have to think that the 49ers were thinking of having that Deebo Samuel receiver running back to help out Trey Lance. So if he's not there, it's going to be a big adjustment and a big ask for Trey Lance to be able to step up. Next, we had the Bears, a little under the radar signing. The Bears signed James O'Shaughnessy, tight end, first reported from Adam Schefter. I think this is a good signing. I mean, the Bears get a tight end to help out their offense. Really a depth guy for them. Then some more news that we had earlier in the week. Obviously, the Denzel Ward 5-year, $100 million deal. I talked about that in my last video on Wednesday. As for more news about my last video, the Capitol won the match. I talked about that for a little bit. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers taking on Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen in the annual Capital One golf match. Last year, it was Brian DeChambeau and Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady and Phil Mickelson. So now Rodgers and Brady are going to team up against two of the young stars in Mahomes and Allen. So that's going to be interesting to watch, see how much football they talk, how well they communicate, and how well both teams work, because we've seen the rivalry between Brady and Rodgers for a while, and now with Allen and Mahomes as the top two quarterbacks in the AFC, I think we've seen a lot from them, and we're going to be seeing a lot more from that duo. So it's going to be interesting to see how they communicate and how well they connect on the field. Other than that, we had Tua Tagovailoa throwing to new wide receiver Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill was seen with Tua Tagovailoa. They were throwing the ball around together. That's a good sign for that Miami Dolphins team. Then we had the Steelers signing Myles Boykin. The Ravens released him, and the Steelers were quick to just pick him up. Good signing for them. Get it, your division rivals player who they just released onto your squad. Really, really good competitive spirit right there. We had Jarvis Landry visiting the Saints. That could be a big move for New Orleans, because that could change how they draft. If they do get Jarvis Landry, pairing him with Michael Thomas, I don't know if they go in the direction of drafting a wide receiver, but it could be interesting to see what they do if they go sign Jarvis Landry or if they draft a wide receiver or both. So that's going to be a really interesting situation, especially in New Orleans, because we also don't know what their quarterback situation is. We know right now it's Jameis Winston, but we don't know where that could be in the future. Now, we also had the Deebo Samuel news, of course. The Lions, Packers, and Jets are the top teams right now to get Deebo Samuel. Those are the top contenders to snag Deebo Samuel. And the trade for him is going to be very interesting to see what teams are going to have to give up for him. I mean, you see all the speculation going around. I made a draft mock trade video for Deebo where I put 6 teams that could trade for Deebo. Put that into a video. You guys can go check it out. I'll link that in the description if you guys want to go check that video out. So Deebo and his situation is going to be very interesting, because there was a video going around today. I don't know where it came from, but it sounded like Deebo was in the background talking on the phone, saying that he hasn't gotten an offer. So that is very interesting, because if that video is real, that video is not doctored up, not changed, and it surfaced, it was out everywhere today. But if that's true and the 49ers didn't offer Deebo a deal, we got to be wondering what's going on, if the 49ers want to keep him, how the relationship is, if the relationship's too far gone to where Deebo's going to be out the door regardless of what anyone really thinks. So that's going to be interesting to see how that whole situation plays out, because the Jets, if Deebo goes to the Jets, the Niners are going to get either the number 4 or the number 10 pick, which is great for them. Great value. And then you got to think that the 49ers probably draft a wide receiver to replace him. I think that the Jets then getting Deebo and pairing him on that offense with Elijah Moore, Michael Carter in the backfield, and then Zach Wilson, who's in his sophomore year now. It could be very dangerous to be able to give Zach Wilson that weapon. And if the Jets do make a move, they said they were going to be aggressive if the right opportunity came up. And you got to think, they missed out on Tyreek Hill. So now is the time, now is the opportunity, like they said in their interview, in their press conference, now is the opportunity, in my opinion, for the Jets to grab that receiver if that's who they're looking for. That way you still, instead of drafting a guy at the top 10 in receiver, you get a Deebo Samuel who's proven. He's only 26 years old, and yeah, you have to pay him, but Deebo Samuel has proven himself. He's a proven guy in the NFL. So you're getting a proven guy. Now, yes, you have to pay him. He's going to want a ton of money. But you're getting a proven guy who's only 26 years old. So you're going to have him for a 4 or 5 year contract if you choose to sign him to that long of a deal. And you're really going to have him. You see what he does. He's proven himself on the field. And then you don't have to take a chance on a rookie. Now, yeah, the rookie class is going to be great. And the Jets could snag the first or second receiver off the board. But at the end of the day, Deebo Samuel has proven himself in the NFL. And not only can he catch passes at wide receiver, but he's also dynamic in the run game if Deebo wants to take on that role with his new team, if he does go to a new team. Now, as for the Packers, you got to think they make some type of move for Deebo Samuel. Whether that's trading the 22nd overall pick and another pick, maybe a first next year or something, you got to think that the Packers have to at least offer something for Deebo Samuel, because you lost Davante Adams. So bringing in Deebo Samuel, who's only 26, Adams is older than Deebo, so bringing in a younger guy who can play running back receiver role. Now, they won't need him to play both roles because they have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. So he's probably going to be that wide receiver only, which there were reports coming out that that's what he wants. So that would be a perfect spot for both guys. With that being said, Deebo and Aaron Rodgers. Because Aaron Rodgers, yes, he loses Davante Adams, but he gets Deebo Samuel, who was a top receiver in the NFL last year, if not the best receiver in the NFL last year. So that could be a good opportunity for them to put everything to Aaron Rodgers, say, we want you, you want to be here, let us help you because we got rid of Davante Adams, who was your best friend on the team, who you really cared for, who cared for you. So let's get you another guy who's proven himself instead of drafting a guy in the first round, because we know the Packers have trouble with drafting a wide receiver in the first round for Aaron Rodgers. And then you have the Detroit Lions. Now, if the relationship is really sour between the Niners and Deebo, I think maybe you ship him to Detroit, because Detroit's not the best situation for him. Out of these three teams, it's probably the worst case scenario for Deebo, because the Green Bay Packers are NFC Championship contenders year in and year out, and the Jets have a young offense with Zach Wilson and the rookies that they had last year who are now sophomores. And he has the connection, although with the Jets, with Salah, who was with the Niners, and Mike LaFleur, who was that receiver and run game coordinator who called the plays for Deebo, who got him the ball as much as he did. So he has connections with the Jets. So you got to think that the Jets are the number one target for both sides because of the connections. Now, yeah, if he goes to Green Bay, he's automatically in the NFC Championship conversation, because that's where the Packers have been. But you got to think that the Jets, he has the connection with Salah, he has a connection with LaFleur, and they're young stud guys who could really be phenomenal in the league if they mesh well together and they connect really well. So that is probably the number one option, followed up by Green Bay at number 2. And then Detroit, probably the third option out of these 3 teams, because you have the uncertainty at quarterback. I mean, you don't want to give Deebo a situation where he's sent to Detroit, they pay him, but then there's turmoil there because who's the quarterback? Is it Jared Goff? Do they draft Malik Willis at number 2? Do they wait and draft a guy at 32 like a Desmond Ridder or Matt Corral? It's really interesting to see what the Niners are going to do with Deebo, because if the relationship is as sour and it gets to a really bad point, you got to think that the 49ers could really screw over Deebo and send him to Detroit, to where he's not going to have that great of an opportunity as he would in New York or Green Bay. So it really comes down to if the team can agree on something and if they could stay civil with each other throughout the trade talks, because then Deebo could have a say in where he goes. Now, the Niners might not listen to him. They might not care what he wants, but at least he will be able to put his input in if the relationship isn't as bad as other relationships like Devontae and the Packers. And then just today, we saw that Logan Ryan filed a grievance against the New York Giants. This reported by Dan Duggan. I mean, Logan Ryan, he's now at the Bucs. He's past the Giants. So him filing a grievance to get some money back because of what happened and what the situation is, that could be something to watch. I don't think it'll carry out too long. It'll probably get settled really quick, whether it goes towards the Giants side or Ryan's side. I think that's just a small minor thing that will get handled pretty quickly. Then we had more news on the Giants. Breaking news just a couple minutes ago. Now it's Friday as I'm recording this, so since I'm recording on Friday, the news just broke that the Giants have put Kadarius Toney on the trade block. They are actively shipping Kadarius Toney, first reported by Pat Leonard. This is really interesting because Kadarius Toney was a 2021 first-round pick. I mean, you got to think, he was only a top receiver drafted. He was drafted in the first round at number 20. He was the 4th receiver drafted in the class, only behind Chase, Waddle, and Devonta. So he's up there in that class. And he was taken ahead of guys like Rashad Bateman, Elijah Moore, Rondale Moore, Dwayne Eskridge, Tutu Atwell, Terrence Marshall. These are the guys that were taken after him. And they're still with their team. There's no problem there. And they really fit in because you saw how the Jets utilized Moore and how the Cardinals utilized Rondale Moore, as well as the Panthers utilizing Terrence Marshall. I think that the receivers taken after him really fit well with where they were taken. So seeing how the Giants are ready to get rid of their first-round pick from last season, it's just got to say that there's something wrong going on there. And there were reports that he didn't want to show up and play for Brian Dable. I don't know if the rumors are true, the speculation. I mean, you're going to get that regardless, but until everything is settled and all the truth comes out, it's all reporting, rumors, and speculation until then. But this is a big deal for the Giants. I mean, they stacked up on receivers. They made a pick at number 20 to get this guy ahead of where people thought he was going to go. It was a surprise pick at the time. And it looks like it backfired against the Giants because only 1 year of Toney not being relevant on the team, being injured, and not being on the field for the Giants because of how many guys they have on the offense and how they struggled. I think it's just a really big bust for the Giants at this point. It looks like it was just a waste of their first-round pick because now they're getting rid of the guy. They don't even want him on the team. And it's really going to come down to what teams could get for him. I mean, what teams are going to give for him because he hasn't proven himself. He was hurt. He wasn't on the field. He didn't get a chance to really play. So teams are going to have to look at the college film and think, well, we didn't draft him, but is he a guy that we could maybe trade a later round pick for if the Giants really want to get rid of him? Maybe a team will say, we'll give you a 4th or a 3rd. But he was a first-round pick last year, so it's really going to depend on what the Giants want for him. Then we had the Steelers. They re-signed their safety, Terrell Edmunds, so that's good for them. They're they're probably not going to get Tyrann Mathieu now. I think that's why this report came out. Ian Rappaport was the first to report it. I think that now them signing their safety back, it takes them out of the talk for Tyrann Mathieu because we don't know where Tyrann Mathieu is going to go. I mean, that's another interesting thing. Like, where is Mathieu going to go, the Honey Badger? He's linked to a couple teams. Maybe the Ravens, maybe the Saints, Eagles, Cowboys. Those are the teams really floating around. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes and who tries to sign him. I mean, I think the best fit for him would probably be Philly, if I would say, or Baltimore. I think he's had talks with Baltimore. He visited with the Saints, but he said that even though he would like to play for his home team, he said that they don't really need him. So maybe Baltimore or Philly for the Honey Badger. I think those are both great fits. Because if you send him to Baltimore, you add to that defense, that defensive back group where they already have Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters. So that could be really good for Mathieu. I know he wanted to stay in Kansas City. He would have taken the deal that they gave to their safety that they signed in Reed. So that's really interesting, the situation there. He's really taking his time, dwelling over all the talk, seeing what he can get and where he wants to go. I think at the end he's going to choose a culture instead of the money because he wants to stay in Kansas City for less money. So at the end of the day, I think he's going to choose culture over money. So I'm interested to see where he ends up signing in the end. And then in addition, we saw that Adam Schefter reported Tom Brady restructured his contract yet again, creating over $9 million in cap for the Bucs. Tom Brady's been doing this year in and year out, which is why the Patriots and then the Bucs were able to bring back their guys and sign guys in free agency because of how selfless Tom Brady is. He's always giving to the team, letting them use money from his contract to bring in guys to help the team, which is why Brady wins so much. And then we saw Charles Cross, offensive tackle from the draft, reported by Matt Miller, and I quote, "There's a belief within their front office that he could be the answer at right tackle and one-day starter." That's the Giants we're talking about. So the Giants might be looking at number 5 to draft Charles Cross. I think that that's probably going to be the pick for them now that this is coming out if he's there. I think you'll probably go at number 5 for them unless they want to chance it and wait till number 7. But you do have Carolina sitting at number 6. We don't know what they're going to do. And then, I mean, the draft's going to be really interesting. I made my second mock draft on Wednesday. And I really went into detail on it because I want to see like what happens. And I was interested to make it. I was excited making my second mock draft. And now this week on Wednesday, I will be doing my live mock draft on my YouTube video. It will be out on Wednesday. I will be doing a live mock draft, talking to you guys while I draft and then uploading the video. So you guys can check that out. That's coming on Wednesday. I'm really excited to do that, looking at the board as I do the mock draft. It's going to be really fun to do that and really go through the mock draft to see what you guys think about my mock draft and where you guys have some people going. So I'm excited to do that. And then this week, it's just a really short video this week. Fridays, I'm recording. So Saturday, the video will be uploaded, which is tomorrow. And these videos are just going to be a quick weekend review type. Every Friday I'll record. Every Saturday I will upload. And it'll just be a weekend review talking about all the stuff that happened during the week. Now, on the TikTok, the link will be in the description for that. On the TikTok, I do daily recaps. They're short 3-minute videos. And then every Friday, I record a week in review. So I'll go through everything that happened during the week, talk to you guys about it like I did today, and then add in a couple of things that happened late today that was just in before I started recording this, like the Kadarius Toney news. And then it'll be uploaded every Saturday as a week in review video. And then I will still be doing my regular Wednesday videos. Every Wednesday I will also be posting on the YouTube. This upcoming Wednesday is going to be a live mock draft where I will be recording myself doing a draft live on my computer. I will be going through the mock draft live, recording it, and then uploading onto the YouTube, so you'll be able to see me doing my live mock draft, and you can see what my thought process is going through each pick, describing what I'm thinking going into that pick, and what I think each team's going to do with that pick, depending on who is ahead of them. Maybe some trades could be in there. I'm probably going to do a no trade mock draft just to get it down. But one thing I want to say about the NFL draft is number 6, Carolina. I think that the Panthers could be in trade talks with Cleveland for Baker Mayfield. So I think that the Carolina Panthers could be trading for Baker Mayfield before the draft or on draft day. So at number 6, they can take an offensive lineman to be able to protect Baker and help out that offense. That's just what my mind's thinking right now. That's what I'm leaning towards. So I think maybe Carolina takes Baker Mayfield off of Cleveland's hands, and that way they'll be able to build around him with the offense they already have, instead of drafting a quarterback so high at number 6, where next year is a quarterback deep class. So if you don't like Baker after a year, you'll be able to draft a quarterback next year. But that's going to be it for this week in review video. If you enjoyed the content, drop a like down below, comment your opinions on some of the news we had during the week, and let me know what you're thinking for Wednesday's video, Wednesday's mock draft. And as always, you can see all the designs from this video on the Instagram, Football Kingdom. That will also be in the link in the description. And I can't wait for my live mock draft on Wednesday. I'll see you guys there.